Hello, everybody. Strategic decision making involves choosing the best path to achieve long term goals and objectives. This requires careful analysis, evaluation, and selection of options, considering various internal and external factors. Let us see some approaches to it. Let's take the rational approach. Let's take, for example, a company is planning to market a new toothpaste. Naturally, the company needs to do a market research. For that, it needs data. Then, financial analysis is required. Competitor analysis is also required, especially what other toothpastes are in the market, so as to decide whether and when to even launch a new product. So, this approach is known as the rational approach. Here, the structured process of identifying a problem, gathering data, and analyzing alternatives, and thereby selecting the most logical solution. This is systematic and analytical. It's known as the rational approach. The pros, the benefits of this is that it minimizes biases, there is increased transparency, and improves the chances of making optimal decisions. But the defects or the cons can be that it is time consuming, it may not be suitable for complex situations with limited data, and it assumes that the information is perfect. The next type of approach is known as the intuitive approach. Let's decide, or let's take an example. A firefighter, there is fire on the particular floor of a building, and this firefighter makes a split second decision to evacuate the building. Now, this decision is based on his gut feelings, because he feels that the fire is spreading rapidly and he does not have much information, but still his gut decision tells everyone to clear out of the building. This is intuitive approach. So here, based on gut feelings, it relies on intuition and instincts and judgments developed through experience. So the firefighter is an experienced person, and because of that, his gut feeling is relied upon. So the quick decision making is very useful when the time is very limited. The advantage is that it can be effective for experienced decision makers, but sometimes it may be difficult to justify or explain this firefighter's action. This is the intuitive approach. Next, we have the political approach. Here, let's take an example. For example, the company decides to relocate its headquarters after negotiations with different city governments, offering various tax incentives. So, the company wants to move to another city, and it talks with the different powers to be, and then decides on going to a particular city because of various tax incentives over there. Now, here we recognize the influence of the stakeholders. You can see the impact of power dynamics, and it builds consensus because it focuses on bargaining and compromising to reach a decision. Now, the pros, there are lots of advantage. The advantage can be that it increases buy-in and commitment to the decision. The new decision may be favorable to many stakeholders, but sometimes it can also be defects also. There can also be defects because the process can be very slow and sometimes the decision might be wrong. So this is the political approach. Now, in strategic management, you also have the entrepreneurial approach. Let's take, for example, Elon Musk deciding to invest in SpaceX. Even if the risk is very high and the uncertainty is there associated with space exploration, still his vision to colonize Mars drives him as an entrepreneur to go forward. So this is visionary and this is risk taking. Steve Jobs also did this to develop the iPhone. It's a proactive and bold decision. They focus on seizing the opportunity, the catching the opportunities and pursuing innovative solutions. So the advantages are that sometimes it can lead to breakthroughs and there will be a lot of competitive advantages because they are the first in the market. But there can also be defects, there can also be cons. Sometimes it might be risky, sometimes it might be unpredictable, and sometimes it may not be suitable for all organizations. Then we have the planning approach. Here, let's take for example the city council. They want to develop a park with specific goals. They want a housing complex over there. They want transportation facilities. They want the economic development over that area in the next 20 years. So they guide their decisions on zoning the place or infrastructure investments and so things like that. This is known as the planning approach. Here it is structured and deliberate. It involves a formal planning process with clear goals and objectives. And this is basically a long-term perspective because you need to anticipate a lot of future trends. But there are a lot of pros for this because it provides the roadmap for achieving goals and promotes coordination. But there can be cons also. Sometimes because of these rigid decisions or these inflexible decisions, some of the changes may not be acceptable to the society. So these are certain approaches to strategic decision making. 1. The rational approach. 2. The intuitive approach. 3. The political approach. 4. The entrepreneurial approach. And 5. The planning approach. Thank you very much.